You thought Luffy was alone? You thought Joy Boy's return was just about a single pirate? Wrong! The final war isn't just one man versus the world. It's the resurrection of the sun god's ancient army, warriors scattered across continents, islands, and even the moon. Giants, sky tribes, Shandians, Birkins, Lunarians, Mink, Samurai, Fishmen, the D-Clan. They were once united under Joy Boy's banner. And in One Piece's final saga, they are awakening again. 1,000 years ago, before the Void Century, there wasn't peace. There wasn't freedom. There was a war between gods. On one side, IMU, the devil race, and the 20 treacherous kingdoms. On the other, Joy Boy, the original D, and the warriors of light. This wasn't about treasure or thrones. It was about liberating the world from illusion and slavery. And Joy Boy didn't fight alone. He led an alliance, a sun army, formed from the giants of Elbaf, wielding the rage of the fallen gods, the Shandians, protectors of the ancient poneglyphs, the sky people, who descended from a lost civilization on the moon, the Fishmen and merfolk, cursed to the sea, the Mink tribe, keepers of the primal electro, the samurai of Wano, who sealed the path to the final truth. Each one carried a fragment of the ancient knowledge, and each one lost something in the Great War. But Joy Boy made them a promise. The sun will rise again, and so will you. Elbaf has remained silent for over 1,000 chapters, but its time is coming. The giants are more than muscle-bound warriors. They are descendants of the divine, once rivaling the gods themselves in power. In Norse mythology, Elbaf-style giants, like Surtur or Jotun, were fated to burn the old gods in Ragnarok. And in One Piece, they may hold the flame of the sun god's vengeance. Uemo and Kashi, Dory and Brogy, Prince Loki. They will not bow to the world government. Because long ago, Elbaf was betrayed, forced into isolation after siding with Joy Boy. But now, as Shanks and Luffy converge on Elbaf, the giant army of the sun may finally return. Long before Skypiea became a floating paradise, it was a battleground. The Shandians are the ancient protectors of the poneglyphs, the voices of the Void Century. They were exiled, hunted, and nearly wiped out. But they still remember. The giant golden bell of Shandora is a sun relic, a beacon for Joy Boy's return. When Luffy rang that bell at the end of Skypiea, he unknowingly awakened the ancient alliance. He proved he was the successor of Joy Boy. And now that Robin has read the glyphs, the Shandian prophecy has begun again. Now the most forgotten tribe may be the most powerful, the Moon People. In Enel's cover story, we learned something bizarre. That long ago, a technologically advanced race lived on the moon and migrated to the blue planet when their world collapsed. They split into the Skypians, the Birkins, the Shandians. Each carried unique traits, wings, technology, and history. But what if the original sun god came from the moon? What if the final army isn't just planetary, but celestial? When the final war begins, we may see the return of the moon warriors, possibly even Enel, now reformed or weaponized, returning with an army of automata. Zunesha isn't just an elephant. It's a walking remnant of the sun god's army, Joy Boy's original mount or ally. When Luffy awakened Gear 5, Zunesha reacted. I hear them, the drums of liberation. The Mink tribe, too, are not ordinary warriors. They possess Electro, a form of primal energy. Their Sulong form is activated by the full moon, the symbol of enlightenment. They pledged loyalty to Joy Boy's will, even before knowing Luffy in the final battle. Zunesha will walk to war once again, and the Mink, under Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, will unleash the Sulong Legion against the devil race's shadows. The Fishmen suffered centuries of slavery, branded as inferior, but that began after the war with Joy Boy. Joy Boy loved the Fishmen and made a promise to the Mermaid Princess, a promise to unite the world above and below the sea. He failed, but he left behind his voice. Now Shirahoshi is Poseidon, an ancient weapon and the true queen of the Sea Kings. She alone can summon every Sea King on Earth. Imagine this. In the final battle, as Imu rises from Mariajois, the oceans tremble. And from the depths, tens of thousands of Sea Kings emerge, crashing into the red line like divine tidal waves. The Fishmen will rise, not as slaves, but as kings of the deep. Wano is not just a closed country. It is a sealing ground. The Kozuki clan, creators of the poneglyphs, were the ones who locked away the greatest truth, and possibly even the devil race's remnants. The ancient weapon, the Void Century, the gateway to Laugh Tale, all of it is tied to Wano. The samurai are the keepers of that gate. Zoro, Momo, Yamato. All carry the legacy of warriors who once fought alongside Joy Boy, and the new shogun of Wano has already chosen a side. When the borders open, Wano will march once more, with swords drawn, with the moon high, to fight the devil's illusion with the truth of steel. All these tribes, all these warriors are waiting for one signal, and it comes from the will of D. Luffy, Law, Dragon, Saul, Blackbeard. Each one represents a fragment of Joy Boy's legacy. Some will unite the army, some will betray it, but only one will ring the bell. The bell of liberation. Luffy isn't building a pirate fleet. He's rebuilding the Sun God's army, and in the final war it will be Elbaf Giants, Sky Warriors, Shandians, Minks, Samurai, Fishmen, descendants all under one banner, flag of the sun. IMU will not sit idle. The devil race will rise. The 5 elders, reanimated devil beasts, the Cypher, Paul, Seraphim, possibly Doflamingo, revived as a devil host, but Joy Boy's army has begun to gather. The drums have started. The red sun will rise, and when it does, the age of the final pirate king will begin. Drop a comment if you believe in the return of the Sun Army. The red sun shall rise again, and hit subscribe for part 5. The final battle, Luffy versus IMU, Sun God versus Devil King.